calling all my footy fans from all around the globe. Straight out of NYC, this is The Line Breaker.
These are the champions. Should I do that again? Hey, what's up, guys? It's Pano. Welcome back to The Line Breaker. I don't have to say my name is Pano because I already told you. What's your name?
I'm Demetri, a.k.a. Juicy.
And, in case you haven't noticed, I don't know what gave it away in the beginning of this little episode, but it's Champions League time. It is European football time. Look, this, especially for me, this is the best year to watch European footy because my favorite team isn't in Europe at all. So I can sit back, relax, and enjoy Barcelona getting out on the group stages. Right, Juicy?
Highly doubtful.
Hey, stranger things have happened. So, how we doing, Juicy? You feeling good after that draw?
I'm feeling great. Barcelona got a Europa League draw.
I'm looking at it right now, and I think Europa League might be generous. It might be a Conference League draw. No, I'm just kidding. That does scream Europa League. I would say so. Or upper level Champions League teams, I would say. I think you're being a little harsh.
I would say only, well, not only, but
right.
Porto and
all right. We're not gonna keep listening. We're gonna go through them, okay? Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, but So the Champions League draw just happened. Champions League draw and Europa League draw and Conference League draw, but we're gonna focus mainly. Unless do you want to do Europa League too? Let's see how we go. Let's see. Demetri is lazy. He doesn't like to work or do anything. So
false.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. This kid never worked a day in his life, so we'll see if Demetri still has energy after he's getting old too. But that's a whole other story. So European footy is back. The group stages are set. And I want to go through with them. We want to name our group of death. We want to name our group of memes. I don't know what to call it. And we're going to see what Demetri thinks about every team's chances of making it through to the knockout rounds. So, you want to start things off, Demetri? Group Alpha? For Demetri, it'd mainly just be Beta. But
false. You're the only Beta here. But getting back to the Champions League, Group A, we have Bayern Munich, FC Copenhagen, Galatasaray, and Manchester United.
Enablers FC?
Sorry? Oh.
Man, I'm so funny. Honestly, this group looks pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, Bayern's winning the group. That's a given.
You think Galatasaray could sneak through? I don't know if those Man U dudes could handle going to Turkey.
I think Manchester United has what it takes to come in second and advance through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. And I think Galatasaray will finish third in the group to go down to the Europa League knockouts.
We're giving no love to the Danes there, aren't we? No chance for Copenhagen?
Slight chance for third, but don't see them going through to the Champions League. And I think playing in that atmosphere in Turkey is going to be too much to handle for them.
Believe it or not, Demetri actually watched a lot of the Champions League qualification stages because of our Greek and Cypriot teams who we support. So we have a pretty good idea of the teams who did sneak through the qualification. Galatasaray is one of them. Was Copenhagen also or no? They might have been.
I believe so.
Galatasaray definitely wasn't. Galatasaray won their last tie pretty comfortably in the end on aggregate. So it's neither of these two teams are slouches. Especially, obviously, we all know playing in Turkey is no easy feat. So I'm gonna agree with Juicy here. I'm gonna go with Bayern Munich in first and Manchester United in second. But I don't think that it's gonna be an easy second. I think they're gonna be sweating by the last game week. That's my opinion. So that's where I'm going with this.
Who do you have coming in third?
I'm gonna go Galatasaray.
Following my lead, of course.
Yeah. So I'm copying. Juicy and I are in agreement on this one. It's gonna be Galatasaray in third, Copenhagen in fourth. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row: Bayern, Manchester United, Galatasaray, and FC Copenhagen. That is your Group A. We flew through that first one, but I guess that
So it was straightforward.
It was a pretty straightforward group.
What was there to talk about?
Sorry, Galatasaray fans, but yeah. Or not sorry. So, let's go to Demetri's favorite numerical group or alphabetical group. Group B, aka Beta.
All right, let's ignore the previous comments. In this group, we have Arsenal, Lens, PSV Eindhoven, and Sevilla. Why don't you take the lead on this group?
I'm not gonna lie, this is a tough group. This is a really tough group. We got 4 tough teams here. I'm very curious as to how Sevilla is doing in the league. Am I gonna like try to sneak on and check the standings right now? Well, they are not. They're last place. They're last place in La Liga. I didn't even know that. Shows how much research I did for this part. I thought it was pretty straightforward. I guess I got a little lazy and I should have looked more into it. Sevilla's last place in La Liga. Wow, that's tough. So I'm gonna go hipster on this group, okay? You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm gonna go Arsenal in first. Okay, because I think this group is easy for the team that Arsenal has. I think that Arsenal has improved on their depth this year, although I have said many times I don't think it's enough to necessarily win the Premier League. We're talking about Europe right now. I think Lens is going to finish in second. They were extremely impressive last year in Ligue 1. They finished second in Ligue 1, and they didn't lose too many pieces. I believe it was just Fofana who they lost. So I'm going to go with Lens in second. And third, I'm going to go with PSV.
Wow, so you have Sevilla coming in last.
Sevilla coming in last. I probably would have put Sevilla third, but this, to me, look, Sevilla's in last, right? In La Liga. This screams to me like the whole club is just like a shambles right now, and they're going to crash out of Europe, and then they're going to fire their manager, and they're going to go through like 2 this year, and then they'll like pick it back up towards the end of the year.
Well, I like this group. It's a little hipster, like you said, but I have a different order of the group finishers. First place, I agree with you. I think Arsenal's going to win the group. Second place, I have PSV Eindhoven. I think they have the talent, and they're just going to edge out Sevilla and Lens. Third place, I have the mother of the Europa League, Sevilla, being dropped down into the Europa League knockouts. And it's funny that you mentioned Sevilla are in last place in Spain. Lens are second to last in France.
I also just looked at that.
With 3 losses and a tie in the Uber Eats League.
This is a rough group.
But yeah, I think Lens comes in last, and PSV Eindhoven sneaks out into the Champions League knockout stages.
Well, there you have it. Obviously, this is the group of massively underperforming teams. So Demetri and I are definitely not in agreement here. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I think that's it. I think we have Group Beta, Group Demetri.
Okay.
And
it's not funny.
I'm laughing. Anyway, let's go to Group C. We have Braga, Real Madrid, Napoli, and Demetri's favorite team of last year. Wait, stay with me. Union
Berlin.
So, yes, that is this group. I actually think this is a pretty fun group. Tell me not.
This is a pretty fun group. But I have my standings set.
So that means you're gonna go first.
Yeah, of course. The alpha goes first. Anyway, I have Real Madrid winning the group. Second place, because they kept a lot of their pieces. Osimhen, Kvaradona. I have Napoli coming in second, advancing to the Champions League knockouts. Third place, I have Union Berlin. They're playing well this year in the Bundesliga. And fourth, I have Braga. The reason being is Braga didn't look too convincing in their playoff qualifications against Panathinaikos. I thought they were pretty much poor and were just hanging on. Panathinaikos couldn't finish and put them away at home, and Braga just escaped. So I have them coming in last in that group.
I'm gonna touch on that also, but I'm gonna go through my table, my group finishes. I can't speak English today. I also agree. I think Real Madrid is going to finish first. They're high flying in La Liga right now, as we know. They're first place in La Liga. So they're flying high at La Liga EA Sports, I should say. And in second place, I'm not going to agree with Demetri here. I'm going to put Union Berlin. I want a little German. Never do that again, right? You guys can't see this right now, but Demetri's dying. Demetri is covering his face. I have Union Berlin in second place. They're doing relatively well in the Bundesliga right now. They're in fifth at the moment, and they're not too far off. That they're only 3 points off of first place Bayer Leverkusen. So I like Union Berlin. I also think that they have a great striker in my boy DDF David Datro Fofana, aka Eto'o reincarnated, the Ivorian Samuel Eto'o, on loan from Chelsea, who's doing very well. So I think that they're going to finish second in their group. I think Napoli is going to finish third. I'm going to give you my reasons. One, I don't think that they're as solid at the back. They lost their defensive leader in Kim. Another thing that is a pretty fun fact, Gavaradona, or I learned the other day, it's actually Gawarandona or
You didn't learn.
Garadona?
Doesn't seem like you learned.
Yada. It's not a V. It's something else. It's like a W or a Y, something like that. I sent you the video. He actually doesn't have many goal contributions over the last 4 months or so. He's underperforming a little bit since the hype train has gone on. Yes, they've kept a hold of Victor Osimhen, but they're not performing super well in Serie A right now. And I also just think that overall, I don't think they're going to come close to winning Serie A. I think that the Milan clubs have it on lock right now. So I think Napoli is going to finish third, but I think they'll probably wind up doing well in Europa League. And as Demetri said, my favorite team, Panathinaikos, really played well against Braga, and I think that they were unlucky to come away with losses and not going through. So a part of me wishes that Panathinaikos was in this group to inevitably lose all 6 games. But yeah, Braga's going to finish last. So short story long, we're going Real Madrid, Berlin. We
switched that. We're different on the second and third.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Real Madrid, Berlin, Napoli, and Braga. Okay. So let's move on. We got Group D. Introduce me, baby. Come on.
Group D, we have Benfica, Inter, Real Sociedad, and Red Bull Salzburg.
I mean, this seems pretty straightforward to me. I'm thinking it looks pretty straightforward. Obviously, Red Bull Salzburg is first in their league because it's the Austrian Bundesliga. So we don't have to worry too much about that. Benfica, I think Benfica is always going to be strong. Inter obviously have, gained some good pieces. I think that they'll be okay this year. I'm actually going to go with this group in the order that I'm reading it right now. I think Benfica is going to finish first, even though they are not quite up to par right now in the Portuguese league. They're fourth right now. Boa Vista in first. Interesting. I got to look more into that because I don't know much about that. So I got to look more into that. I'm going to go Benfica first, Inter second, Real Sociedad third, and Salzburg fourth. Sociedad has not been very good in La Liga this year. They're doing pretty poorly. Honestly, they are in 8th. And they have one win and 3 draws. Interesting. Okay, so they're undefeated. Who am I to say they're not doing well? They're undefeated. All right. But that's my 1 through 4.
My 1 through 4 for Group D is a little different from yours. I actually have Inter winning the group, Benfica coming in second. Again, Real Sociedad struggles in La Liga is the reason I have them coming in third. I think that, Benfica always puts out a strong team and they're going to edge out Real Sociedad for that second place spot. So I have Real Sociedad coming in third and Salzburg finishing last.
All right. So to me, it's an interesting group, but I feel like it's another group that you can pick your 1 and 2 at that point, right? Like,
yeah, I would say so.
I think the 1 and 2 is pretty straightforward. Let's go with Group E here. We have Atletico Madrid, Celtic, Feyenoord, and Lazio. And I already know who I'm going for. I know my picks, but how about you take it from here, Demetri?
So in this group, I think, you could see a few teams finishing in first, but I think it's pretty solid that Atletico Madrid will finish in first in the group. Second place, I have Feyenoord finishing in second place. And I have Lazio coming in third with Celtic, not being too competitive in the group and finishing in last.
I I was going to go the same route as you, but I have one key thing that's changing my mind. And I'm going to agree. I think that Atletico Madrid will top the group, but I actually think that Lazio are going to finish in second. I'm a big believer in Maurizio Sarri, former Chelsea manager. I think that Lazio has a solid squad. I think that Sarri, when given time, can develop good squads. I know Lazio isn't doing particularly well in Serie A right now, but I believe that with the style of play that Sarri has, and it seems like he's done well with Lazio, done well enough, obviously, that he got them into the Champions League this season at all. I believe that he could turn them around. He hasn't lost too many people. He added pieces like Valentin, a.k.a. Tati Castellanos, in the forward line for him, so I think Lazio will finish second. I'm going to go with Celtic in third, with newly rehired, I should say, coach Brendan Rodgers at the helm after he left from Leicester. I think he can bring them through to the Europa League, and I think that Feyenoord, sorry to all the Dutch fans out there, I think that Feyenoord will finish last.
You don't have any faith in the Dutch champions?
I don't. Look, I might eat my words, but this is what I'm going to go with. Even though I'm not a big fan of Scottish football, I actually don't think that it's a good league at all. I feel like Brendan Rodgers could get something out of that Celtic team. But listen, okay, this whole time that we've been listing out groups, really what we've been doing is we've been waiting to talk about the next group. This might be the most fun group I've seen in a while, because there's not a single team. Like, there was that one group, what was it? It was like Barca, Inter, and who? Who else is in that group?
Last year with Bayern?
Yeah. That was a fun group.
Not really.
Okay, it was a fun group to neutrals. This group right here that we're about to talk about might be the best group I've ever seen if you're a neutral. Just like fun all round. You could take your pick of who's going to go through. You want to name them out for me, Demetri?
So the 4 teams in Group F are AC Milan, Borussia Dortmund, Newcastle, and PSG.
I know the only team that I'm 100%... No, I'm sorry. The only team that I'm like over 75% sure of like where they're going to finish in this group is Newcastle.
Where do you have Newcastle finishing?
I have them finishing last.
I agree.
Wow. This is... agreeing once is crazy for Juicy and I, but agreeing twice... Whew. Actually, we've done that a couple times this episode, or a few times. Okay, so obviously you just heard who we think is going to finish fourth. You want me to go first? Who I think is going to finish first?
Yeah, list your 4 spots.
All right. I'm going to go with PSG is going to finish in first place in this group. Second place is going to be AC Milan. Third place is going to be Dortmund. And fourth place is going to be Newcastle. And I'm going to give you all my reasons. One, PSG. I know they've had a slower start, although they're still second in the League Uber Eats League, Farmers League, Purdue League. I don't know. I really like the moves that they made this summer, and I like their coach. I think Luis Enrique is a good manager, and I think that they made a lot of smart moves this year, cleared out a lot of like the heavy earners and like the mercenaries, and I think that they've gotten a lot of young talent who, and I've mentioned this about PSG in other episodes, that I really like their recruitment. So I think they're going to finish first, and I think it's going to be pretty comfortable. Second, though, another team who I think has recruited tremendously this summer, taking advantage of the English market, is AC Milan. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who I called it, I told you, he's going to boss Serie A. He's been bossing Serie A. Christian Pulisic, as long as he stays healthy, is going to continue to play well. He's been playing very well in Serie A as well. And they still have guys like Rafael Leao. They have guys like Olivier Giroud, who ages like a fine wine. He's a stud. And they have guys like Theo Hernandez, who is a left back who is better than some wingers. So I think that they're going to finish second in this group. Third, I'm going to go with Borussia Dortmund. They've had a really slow start to the Bundesliga. They have not played well whatsoever. They are in ninth. They have one win to their name. And honestly, the most significant thing that they've done the entire season, including preseason, is hurt Christopher Nkunku and put him out for 4 months. So they're on my list right now, Dortmund. So they're going to go third, Europa League. Fourth is going to be Newcastle, because I wasn't big on them finishing top four in the first place in the Premier League. And I think that Champions League is going to be tough. It's going to require a lot of rotation. It's going to require them to be on their A game. And I don't think that there's enough quality in this Newcastle team to go up against a heavy-hitting group with a lot of Champions League experience.
Ready for this one?
Yep.
I actually agree with you on all your rankings.
Wow, okay.
I also have PSG winning the group. As you mentioned, they did get off to a slow start, but that can be attributed to the Mbappe drama where he was sat out, I believe, the first game, and they drew in the league. Second place, I have AC Milan with the much stronger squad, in my opinion, over Dortmund. And Dortmund edging out Newcastle for third place. I think Newcastle finishes in last. As we mentioned in the previous Premier League episode, you know, with the games in the middle of the week and the Premier League games on the weekend, I think the fatigue's gonna set into the players. And Newcastle, first year in European football, I don't think they'll be able to handle it. So I have them finishing in last place. First year in a while, I should say, in European football.
I don't remember the last time they were. The year that Chelsea won the Champions League, they finished in the top 4, but because of a weird rule back then, it's no longer in place. When Chelsea won the Champions League, they got knocked down, I want to say. Or maybe they didn't finish in the top 4, something like that. I think that was the last time they were in Europe. We'll go with that. That's so 2012-2013 season.
Long time ago.
That was 10 years ago. Wow. All right. Well, next group. I mean, I'm thinking of the Breaking Bad meme where he's just like, how do they keep getting away with this? This is how I think about this group. How do they keep getting away with this? Manchester City again. They get Leipzig again, and they get 2 weak teams again. Look, of course, Red Star Belgrade, who's a team here. Obviously, they're listed as Crvena Zvezda, whatever that is. I'm not Serbian, but it's Red Star Belgrade. Obviously, extremely historic team, amazing fans, rich history. They've won the European Cup before, so full respect to them on a historical level. And to their fans, they're amazing, our Orthodox brothers. But I still don't think they have much of a chance in this group, and neither do Young Boys. So you're basically looking at Manchester City, RB Leipzig, and then you just kind of you pick your order. To me, this group seems pretty straightforward. I'm going to go with Man City because, again, they get lucky with a very easy group. RB Leipzig, who, look, just they're fourth in the Bundesliga right now. They're a good squad. They will always be competitive. We've spoken many times how the Red Bull model is just churns talent, and the talent always floats to the top with them. They're going to finish second. I'm going to go with Red Star Belgrade because, gotta support the brothers. They're going to finish third, and Young Boys are going to finish fourth. Now, of course, if this was Todd Bowley, he'd put Young Boys at first place because he's a big fan of the youth. But, this is not. So Young Boys going to finish last for me.
I'm a little slightly different from you. First place, I obviously have Man City. That's a given. Second place, I have Red Bull Leipzig. The other two teams won't be too competitive at the bottom, so that was pretty straightforward of who's going to come out of that group. Third place, though, I have your favorite team from Switzerland, Young Boys, finishing in third, finishing ahead of Crvena Zvezda, Red Star Belgrade.
You said it much better than I did. Well, that's bad. You said that nicely. I'm slacking with that. All right, yeah. Hey, listen, as we know, being a Chelsea fan, I only like players who are 21 years and younger. So, Young Boys be a preferred team to be finishing in first, but it is what it is. So we're gonna move on there. We're gonna move on to Group H. This is the last group. Wow, we're already at the end here. Last group here, we have Barcelona, FC Porto, Royal Antwerp, and Shakhtar Donetsk. So, let me hear it, Demetri. What do you got?
I think this group is also pretty much straightforward. I have, Barcelona winning the group with no real threat, but I would say a slight threat from Porto. Porto should be a shoo-in in second place, advancing into the Champions League knockout stages. Third place in this group, I have Shakhtar Donetsk, and last place, Royal Antwerp. Royal Antwerp, another weak club that made it through the playoff Champions League knockouts against AEK Athens. Looked weak in the second game.
Demetri's favorite team in Greece.
Looked weak in the second game. Alderweireld was great over the two legs, although he got hurt later on in the second leg. But the injury to Levi Garcia in the first game really hurt AEK, but they couldn't muster a goal to come back at home. So I think Shakhtar will finish third ahead of Royal Antwerp in this group, and it's pretty straightforward.
I agree. And you couldn't have said it better. I think Barcelona, talented team. Obviously, they're going to have another strong season in La Liga, although I believe we predicted that we said Real Madrid would win this year, La Liga, or you predicted that, and I think I agreed with you. Even though they might not win La Liga this year, I still think that they're going to have a strong showing in Europe, especially after their young team has had another opportunity to really be in Europe and establish themselves and gain European experience. FC Porto, of course, they know the Champions League like few others. They're mainstays in the Champions League. They know how to perform on those European nights. Shakhtar Donetsk, extremely impressed always with them. I think that they're another team that is a mainstay in the Champions League, and considering that they're still able to perform, considering everything that's happening in the country that they're from, full respect, I think that they're going to only use it as motivation to keep performing. And Royal Antwerp, who just squeezed by, again, barely beating AEK Athens and not really showing maybe that they belong in this competition. I think that they're going to finish last. So that concludes our Champions League picks. All right, so just to round things off, we're going to go with just the top two that we have in each group, or I should say not the top two. How about this? From the teams that we picked that are going to go through, just simply give me, who do you think is going to win this year's Champions League?
This year's Champions League?
Yeah.
I'm stuck between, I think, 3 teams.
Let me hear it.
My 3 teams that I'm stuck between is Real Madrid, Manchester City, and Bayern Munich.
Those are the 3 teams you think will win?
Yes.
Didn't we say that if Harry Kane went to Bayern, you would have them as one of your favorites?
Yeah, they are one of my favorites.
I think we spoke about that, right? I feel like we did. Maybe it wasn't on like recording. Maybe it might have been off, but I think I remember us talking about that. So that's a good pick right there. So
Man City hasn't had an eye-opening signing over the summer, which Real Madrid did when they signed Bellingham, and as you mentioned, Bayern did when they signed Harry Kane, which boosts their squad to make them real better contenders than they were last year.
You wouldn't call 90 million euros on a defender eye-opening?
No.
Okay. I agree with you. I think that if there's any
if you had to pick one, who would you pick though?
Oh, that's tough. You know what? At first, my mind said Manchester City. I think that they could repeat. If any team can repeat, I think it'll be Manchester City. But I think that they're slightly weakened this year. Slightly, even though I still think that they're the best team in England. I think it's going to be Bayern Munich. I think Bayern Munich is going to win the Champions League this year, and I'm going to tell you why. There's 2 reasons why. Actually, 3. I'll give you 3 reasons why I think Bayern Munich are going to win. 1, Thomas Tuchel. He's made 2 Champions League finals in the last 3 years. In the last 3 years, he's made 2 Champions League finals. Because he made it with PSG. Then he made it with Chelsea the year after. Obviously, he didn't make it the year before. The last 4. He's made 2 out of the last 4 Champions League finals. Great. Got it. And I think he knows how to win the competition. I think he knows how to play effective knockout football, being a little bit more pragmatic, not just going all out, crazy offensive. He knows how to play, and he has a good setup for knockout football. He made it to almost every final that he was in as a Chelsea manager. In fact, I think he did make it to every final except the Champions League, his second season. He didn't make it to the final, although I think they should have beat Real Madrid that year, but still. So he's a cup specialist in my eyes. Second reason, Harry Kane. I think that they lost Robert Lewandowski, one of the greatest goal scorers of this generation. They lost him for a year. They were hurting last year without him. And then they replaced him with the other greatest goal scorer of this generation, and that's Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane, of course, he scores goals. He's already scoring a lot of goals for them. He's high-flying already. I think on a proper team that doesn't bottle, isn't a professional bottling team, I think that he'll take Bayern to the promised land again. Third reason is kind of a mixture. I think that they've upgraded on defense. I think that they've gained Kim. They lost Pavard, but they gained Kim. And I guess this is like technically the fourth reason. I think that they're going to go big in January for some reinforcements. They were going heavy at deadline day to get guys like Trevoh Chalobah, so you know that they're looking for another defensive piece and another midfielder piece. They were linked with Conor Gallagher as well. Obviously, I don't think Conor Gallagher is the type that's going to lead them to the Champions League, but I think that it means that they're not content with what they have. They want to get more. So I think they're only going to get stronger as the season goes on. I'm going to go with Bayern Munich.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you and stick with my off-camera prediction of, if Harry Kane went to Bayern, they would be the top team to beat, and I'm going to have to stick with that. I think Harry Kane is that missing piece that they had from last year, and we saw them struggle in the Champions League without a solid number 9 up top. Somebody that they can rely on, depend on, and I think Harry Kane is that guy that will give you goals.
So, there you have it. we gave you our predictions for every group, the top two, the Europa League, the person who goes through to the Europa League instead, who drops to Europa League, I should say, and the last place team for every group. And then we also gave you our winners. And it seems like Demetri are on the same page today. It is a miracle. And what we want to know is, what do you guys think of this Champions League? How about you give us our group winners for each group? If you want to go through each group and you want to let us know what you think for each group, go ahead. Go right ahead. Let us know. And if you just want to tell us your winner, who you think is going to win the Champions League this year, go ahead. We want to know. We want to know really badly. We want to know your opinions, and we'd love to interact with all of you. So, you have anything else to say, Juicy?
Nothing to add here.
Why do you have to say it like that?
Say what? Like what?
You're just like, nothing to add here. Just say like, nah, I'm good. Barca sucks. Something like that.
I don't want to lie to our fans.
Well, on that note, this was episode 6 of The Line Breaker, breaking down the Champions League group stage draw. My name is Pano.
I'm Demetri, aka Juicy.
And we're out of here.